Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Parallax Abstraction, and welcome to another episode of Retro Flashback, showcasing gaming's roots for a new generation. Today we are going to be taking a look at the second of the three launch window titles, if you will, for the Nintendo Wii U Virtual Console service. I'm going to be covering all three of these in sort of rapid succession. We took a look at F-Zero last week, and I'm just going to do all three of these in a row to sort of get caught up to where things are currently. I'm hoping to review or talk about a lot more of them as they come out in the future. But I figured I'd just do the initial three right now and get them all over with since they're available right now and easy to get your hands on. So this is an NES game, and the next one will be an NES game as well, the next episode. But after that, we will see where things go from there. So, what we're taking a look at today is a launch title for the Nintendo Entertainment System called Balloon Fight, which was basically Nintendo's answer to Joust, the classic Atari title. But it's kind of neat. I like Joust, and I like this game a lot too. Unlike Rolling Thunder and Codename Viper, where I kind of said that, yeah, they're both good, but one is, in my opinion, somewhat superior to the other. Joust and Balloon Fight are kind of equal in a lot of ways. They are both using sort of the same core formula, which is basically hitting guys from a certain angle to take them out. But each has their own unique ideas, and Balloon Fight brings a lot of different twists to the formula that I think make it stand up on its own merits, and is a really good game. So let's get this thing started off here. So this does have a one-player and a two-player mode in it. I'm just playing by myself here, so sorry, you just get me, I know. So as you can see here, the concept is pretty simple. Your balloon actually signifies the number of hit points that you have, and your objective is simply to pop the balloons of your enemies, and then to touch them again, basically, to take them out. And you have to hit them from the top in order to do any damage to them. Oh, geez, screwed that up nice. Because you can see they all have sort of pointy noses there. And it's wow. And it's pretty neat the way this game works mechanically, because that's the basic core concept of it, right? But what's interesting is that there's multiple different ways that the enemies can sort of mix things up. So you see how I knocked that guy down, but he didn't land in the water? So keep your eye on him, and you'll see what I mean here. Oh, look at that. So if you take too long, he will actually blow up himself a new balloon and basically bring himself back to life. The interesting part about that, of course, is that it can have sort of beneficial effects as well, because the principal purpose of games like this is score attack. You're playing this game to try to get as high a score as possible. And if you want to sort of extend your session out in the interests of achieving the best score you can, letting the guys actually resuscitate themselves can be to your benefit, because you get points each time you pop their balloon. So if you can do it more than once, you get more points. But if you only do it the one time, I bombed that. But if you only do it the one time, you get them off the playing field quicker and can progress to the next level, where there might be more scoring opportunities because there's more enemies. So it allows you to sort of approach the game in different ways and strategize how you want to approach it. Are you going for progression or score, or perhaps a mix of the two? You'll also see here, when I took enemies out, that bubbles came up from them. I guess that's, you know, how people reincarnate in the Balloon Fight universe. And those bubbles, again, are additional scoring elements. Those will only appear when the enemies are completely knocked out, and they are, again, optional. So if you want the extra points, you can go after them, or if you want to play it safe and not have that happen to you, you can just ignore them and go about dealing with the other enemies. So that's another little twist to things. You also probably saw in my last game that these clouds play a role as well. Clouds themselves are harmless. You can fly through them if you want. But if you've been playing in a certain level for a while, there's another little twist there. If you can get to enemies before they blow their balloons up, you can actually take them out immediately and sort of eliminate some threats off the playing field right away. But if you play the levels for too long, you notice that the clouds produce lightning, and it's actually creepy, semi-sentient ball lightning. Oh, here we go right here. So there it is. And you see that that sort of randomly flies around the arena, and as you saw from before, it's insta-death. So regardless of how many balloons you have left for your character, you get hit by the ball lightning and you are done. And that is a direct consequence of taking too long. So if you want to be daring and want to go after the enemies perhaps more than once to try to maximize your score, or go after all their reincarnation death bubbles, then you can do that, but the longer you take to do so, and the more you push your luck, the greater the chance that the lightning will spawn, and that in later levels more lightning will spawn, and you risk sort of insta-death. So there's a really good risk-reward system at play here. Speaking of, you'll see here that after completing those first couple of stages, I have now gone into a bonus level. So there's no death mechanic here at all. There's no risk in these bonus levels. It's simply collect as many of the balloons as you can. The more you do, the bigger your bonus. Very simple arcade tenant, but very critical, as you can see, because I earned a small fortune there because I got a lot of the balloons. Never managed to actually clear the bonus level entirely. I have gotten multiple times actually, I have gotten as far as having a single balloon that I missed. One of these days I'll manage to get it fully, but not this time out. You also see there that as I got into that later level, that enemies started to blow their balloons up faster and bring themselves back faster, so again, playing on the same mechanic. The enemies come back faster, which can make them more challenging, but at the same time, if you're someone who wants to go for multiple hits and do more damage, or get more points from, I guess, doing more damage, if you will, then you can do that too. So that's what I really like about this game, and what was good about Joust as well. The games really encouraged you to push your luck for better score. And it wasn't simply a matter of progressing through the game as fast as you can and trying to get to the end. And you were actually rewarded for taking your time in this game. Whereas in a lot of other arcade games that wanted you to sort of move through them fast, a lot of arcade games attach timers and time bonuses to the levels. I mean, a lot of Nintendo games did this too. And the idea behind that was to actually encourage you to blast through the levels as fast as you could, because the more time you had left, the greater your bonus. Whoa! Oh, that was spiteful. That's the first time I've ever seen that, actually. The clouds can actually attack you from underneath if you're near to them when they start flashing. Today I learned. And that is... It's an interesting mechanic. Like, there's nothing wrong with that time mechanic. It's used to great effect in a great many games, including, you know, games like Super Mario Brothers used that, and they were fantastic at it. But this actually encouraged you to take your time, and that was really cool. You were actually rewarded for being riskier and not trying to blaze a path, which was really neat, I thought. So that's the main mode of Balloon Fight. There is a two-player mode as well, where you're actually competing for score, and this game is actually a lot of fun with two people. It's really cool. I mean, I'm not showing you that in this video today, but it's basically the same game. You just have a second player on the screen, and you're competing for score. So but it's the same basic concepts here. But there is a secondary mode in this game that is fundamentally different from this, and is arguably the best part of the game. It's certainly the most challenging, and I think it's really, really cool. So I'm going to show you that in a minute here. I doubt I'll last very long. I never tend to get very far in this game. It actually gets very challenging very fast. But we'll show you that here. So we are once again looking at the Wii U Virtual Console edition of this game. If you have not seen my previous video on F-Zero, I would recommend checking that out, because in that video I also detail some of the unique features that the Wii U Virtual Console brings to the experience of playing these older titles that are featured on it. I'm not going to bother going through that again because it's all detailed in that video, but if you want to know why you might want to consider picking this up on the Wii U Virtual Console if you have one of these machines, and by the way, if you don't have a Wii U, stop being bad and go get one because the Wii U is awesome and it's not selling right now, and it should because it's a great machine. So in that video I go over some of the benefits of the Wii U Virtual Console. And this game, like F-Zero and like the next game I'll be showing in my next episode, they all launched at 30 cents because that's what Nintendo's doing to try to spur interest in the Virtual Console, which I think is great. Unfortunately, this is not 30 cents anymore. But Nintendo has dropped hints before that they will be doing much more in the way of special promotions and sales on the Wii U eShop as a whole. So my hope is that they will be doing some aggressive sales in the future on Virtual Console stuff to sort of keep interest going. So we'll see what happens with that, but keep your eye on it because I think that stuff will start to happen. And to be honest with you, if the Wii U continues to underperform at retail, then we may see those sooner rather than later. So anyway, I finally bombed out of that. So here is the special third mode, which is called Balloon Trip. This is really neat. So it's very, very different, as you can see. It is not a single-screen combat arena type thing. It is actually an auto-scrolling, basically gauntlet that you're going through. And it's you can see here we have a whole bunch of green balloons. This is basically a play off the bonus level, and that your goal is to try to get as far into this gauntlet as you can, and while surviving, which I most certainly did not there, also trying to pick up as many of those green balloons and as well as the bubbles as you can to up your score here. It's kind of weird. You see there's a rank in the upper right corner there. The game actually doesn't save these scores, obviously, but though using the Wii U Virtual Console save state feature, it arguably can. It only displays the top score, but it does have a very rudimentary leaderboard in it, which is what this rank thing is. And that's actually pretty cool because this type of high scoring was very unusual in games of this era. Like, top scores were common, but that was kind of it. But you can actually sort of keep track of your rank as you go. As I said, it doesn't save that, so if the game is reset, all of that goes back to a default state. So you've either got to keep track of that either in your head or written down somewhere, or if you use the Wii U save state, you can maintain those leaderboards over time if you want. But it's a neat little system nonetheless, though it is weird that it only shows the top score. You also saw there before that when I actually picked up a bubble, in this mode, it provided the benefit in that it stopped the screen briefly. That can be, again, like a lot of things in this game, a blessing and a curse. That can be beneficial because it can allow you to sort of get your bearings and maybe pick up some additional green balloons if they're on screen. But at the same time, if there are a lot of these ball lightnings around and they stop in not advantageous places, that can actually make things really difficult for you because you may have to hold yourself still until the screen resumes. And that can be really, really difficult at times. It's a very careful balance that you have to strike there. And as you can see, this mode is pretty darn hard. I have passed the top score in this mode before, but not for quite a while, and I think I only ever did it once. It is very challenging, but it rewards repeated playthroughs, it rewards experience, and it definitely awards precision. Playing this on the Wii U gamepad is actually very, very good. I love how the buttons and the analog sticks feel on this, and I actually find playing this mode with an analog stick versus a D-pad, such as the NES had, is actually a little bit easier. I wouldn't say it's so much easier that it could be considered sort of cheating, if you will, or having an unfair advantage, shall we say. But it's definitely feels a little bit nicer, and I mean, you know, unless you're competing for the Twin Galaxies high score on this game, even if it is a bit of an unfair advantage, who cares? You know, you're playing this stuff to have fun, right? Not to be in any kind of competition, really. But yeah, that's the basic concepts of this game. I think it's really good. I always really, really enjoyed Balloon Fight, and Not much really happened with this game beyond this. There was a sequel per se to this that came out on the original Game Boy. But beyond that, Nintendo never really did a lot with Balloon Fight. I don't know if that's because it didn't, you know, if it wasn't very popular, or they were concerned about, you know, ticking Atari off too much, or what. But this is a really fun, simple yet deep arcade game that I think if you like this kind of stuff, if you're into challenge and games that have controls that are simple to learn but hard to master, this is the type of gameplay mechanic that a lot of mobile games are going for right now, and not a lot of them do it right, if you ask me, but the ones that do invoke very similar feelings to this game. And this was arguably one of the best NES launch games beyond a couple of, you know, real undeniable classics like Super Mario Brothers and such. This was a really good game for the time. There is also a bit of a variant on this particular thing, this Balloon Trip mode, in Nintendo Land, which is a launch title for the Wii U itself, actually, the Wii U proper, not in terms of Virtual Console or anything like that. It's a minigame collection. I mean, if you know about the Wii U at all, you probably know what it is. It was basically the attempt for Nintendo. It was what was supposed to be the Wii Sports of the Wii U system. I actually really like it. My girlfriend and I have played it a ton, and I really, really enjoyed it. A lot of people think that it didn't hold up to Wii Sports because it's definitely not as simplistic. It's a little more involved, a little harder to learn, and I can kind of get that. But one of the games they had in that was a variant of this. It's not necessarily as long, and it definitely starts out a lot easier than this, though it can get very devilishly hard later. And it invokes the same mechanics and the same sort of spirit of this Balloon Trip mode, and it does it with a really, really cute aesthetic and a really, really cute visual style that I really, really like. Feels almost a Little Big Planet-esque in terms of it's very fabric-y and cute. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Nintendo Land too. I think it's a great game that if you've got a Wii U, you would really enjoy. But yeah, that is Balloon Fight, published and developed by Nintendo in 1984 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Really, really solid game. It has a simple concept, but it is executed brilliantly, and I think it can easily stand beside Joust in terms of overall quality and its relevance to this type of arcade game. You can get it digitally right now on both the Wii Virtual Console and the Wii U Virtual Console, and actually on the 3DS Virtual Console as well, which you're probably not going to see me talk about the 3DS very much on this show because unfortunately there is no way to easily capture the 3DS without having either a modified console that's super expensive or a developer unit, which, well, I ain't going to get one of those. I'm way too small time for that. But this is available on there too, so there are multiple ways to get your Balloon Fight fix on if you want it. So those are really they're really all really good options. I personally think this version's the best because of the options the Wii U Virtual Console brings. But yeah, I think this is a really good game and something a lot of people should check out. My name has been Parallax Abstraction. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all.